right, to finish the month of April 28th, 2017, it was a rough day for me. Um, Took a big loss, probably one of my biggest losses ever. And this is one of videos I'm going to archive and bookmark because I don't want to make this mistake. And the reason I'm making this recap video is so you guys won't make the same mistake. Um, I am a little pissed off, so if you have any kids around, careful because I might accidentally curse. But anyways, to start off the morning, Dries came up on the scanner, and Lord and behold, there was some shares in IB. Recently, Dries hasn't had any shares, so it's been on a constant drop because there's just been a lot of selling on the Kalani deal. Anyway, so I saw it early morning. There's about like 2,000 shares left. I went ahead and put in. I was trying to get all 2,000, but only about 800 filled there. Popped up, and I got a little bit more. So I ended up just adding here pre-market because I was even okay if this one popped higher. But besides the fact you do have some resistance, I mean, I would have a problem swing shorting Dries. But anyways, I was able to cover this morning. I mean, this afternoon. So just took my gains, and hopefully it pops again Monday, and maybe there's some shares and we'll be able to short it again. So we started the morning with Dries. The other one that came up on the scanner was CLF. And CLF, same thing. What I liked about this one is that it was really after the big drop from the earnings, it kind of closed the gap, and then it retraced back to the golden ratio. So I was grabbing it from the highest point here down to the bottom. It retraced back to the golden ratio. So when I saw it early morning around 7:30, it got rejected. So I like that. Plus the indicators were telling me that you got your red arrow below VWAP, parabolic dot knocked out. So when I went in here, I was risking up to 693. I went very small, I guess a half size position. Once the market opened, just boom, drops. So I was able to cover right away. RSI was telling me, and then the timing sales, I was looking at timing sales. Very important to look at, especially when you're trading, because you can see all the people buying or selling. So I ended up covering here for a nice gain to start the morning. Now, before I jump to the other stocks, so what happened this one, I took my gains, and I was playing other stocks, and then all of a sudden this one just ramps up, something similar to yesterday. So it comes up to a point, and guess where it comes up to? Another Fibonacci, and that was yesterday's resistance. So when I saw it, I was like, I guess CLF just wants to throw some money at us. Um, so it topped there, kind of tried to break out. It couldn't, got rejected, got stuffed. So when I saw it, I drew my channel, my trend line, and broke that. But you get a double top, triple top if you count yesterday, plus a parabolic dot. What other confirmation do you want, right? So I ended up just reshorting this one here. I think I covered too early, but just kind of the time itself, there's just a lot of buyers coming in, but I guess it got stuffed again. After I covered this, I just took it off my radar, but I guess I left a lot of money on the table, but at the same time, I got them twice, and it was a good short. So that was CLF. MDR, I played it last week or earlier this week. I got a tight stop. I ended up getting stopped out here for a small loss. So I came back today. They were knocking on my door, and what I liked pre-market was that yesterday it came up to the Fibonacci. Here 50% retracement. It had retraced 50% from this big drop. So Friday morning, then I got it after the failed open. Third candle went in short, and I think it was under VWAP. Yeah. So I mean, when stocks are under VWAP, that's telling you that the sellers are in control. So it gives you more confidence and more confirmation that sellers are in control. So I ended up going here. I mean, the RSI was low, The parabolic dot on top, filled open, plus VWAP as protection. So I had about 3 levels of protection. I felt comfortable. I went in, and the RSI told me to get out. I think my profit target was 658, I think. I guess it touched it late on in the day, but at the same time, like I said, I just took it off my radar. Um, after I made my win. The other one, VRX. VRX, I've had a hard, I've been having a hard time trying to get this one in. So I ended up shorting here at first, as I thought I was shorting, but I actually ended up buying by accident. Good thing is that I bought only like about 200 shares, so it wasn't a big size position. Glad I realized, so I ended up, selling here. So I bought here by accident and then sold here. It was just like a $10 loss. I'm glad I caught it. Then when I saw it again, I was like, okay, well, this one's on the VWAP, and I was doing the bear flag pattern. I was looking for the lower highs, which it did. So when I made the lower high here, I ended up reshorting, but I had a tight stop because I said, this one has history of squeezing. The squeeze there, day before yesterday, squeeze, especially when it got down to the cold RSI um, on the buy RSI zone. So I was like, I'm gonna give it a tight stop, and I guess that was a good stop because ended up squeezing again. So I got out the way, and I came back after RSI got hot. Made a very similar move as done in the past 2 days. Squeeze then drop, squeeze then drop. So I came in again and I got them here after the break of the channel, and it hit my profit target. So I got out the way. Um, Same thing. I left some money on the table, but it hit my profit target. So overall, my mistakes here and my squeeze here, I ended up just pretty much break even with VRX again. So better than taking a loss. Cara, I played it in the past, so I'm very familiar with the stock. The only reason that I like this one is that at Fibonacci, plus you had some resistance here from a couple days ago. So I ended up going here short after the VWAP. Yeah, when it cracked the VWAP. So I ended up going short here, cover here after it hit my profit target. I guess I got the bottom because after that, I guess at the end of the day, it came back. But so that's for Cara. But moving forward, Twtr. I also got Twtr. Man, shit, all busy. Twtr. I gave it a tight stop because I wanted to make this lower high, and it just kind of broke this trend. And I guess it was a very tight stop. Otherwise, it would have been a nice win. I just got out the way. Didn't want to deal with it. But going to my big play, I want to rush through this video too. I don't want to make it too long, but lessons to learn. COD. This one came up on my scanner. Bad earnings, gap down. So the first thing I did when I saw this gap down was I drew my Fibonacci's. So I was expecting a 50% retracement and then drop. So when it came around this area, I ended up shorting because what I saw was a lower high. As you can see here, I went in here, this trend line wasn't forming yet. When I went in there, my stop loss was actually this parabolic dot, which was 331, 333. Now, the problem was I sized in full size here. So I was expecting a similar move that GNC did yesterday. And that's the problem. Rule number one, they're different stocks. Don't compare them. Because this is where I went in yesterday and made lower high, then cracked. But look at the difference between GNC. GNC actually, confirmed that lower high and then broke this uptrend. COD never made that confirmation. COD actually continued making, higher highs. Plus, the other thing is that it was above its opening. So a lot of players even play this as an opening range breakout. People join on the trend, and like Billy was saying, is that a lot of times it's fill the gap. My anticipation was 50% retracement, drop from there, and cover like around 314, back at the open. But the first confirmation was for me to get out the way was here after it broke this trend. That was a sign for me to stay out of it, get out the way. Second confirmation was a VWAP. Third one is it's above its opening. So my where I screwed up was that I saw it going higher, and I said, okay, well the RSI is getting hot, and this one tends to listen to the RSI at least for the past couple times. So I said, okay, this one has some resistance overhead. When it broke this channel here um, at 336, I said, okay, I'll give some space. I'll come in and add some more. That's the second problem. I ended up adding way more here in this area. I sized in even almost twice as much. So by this point, I already had about $10,000 in this one. It's way oversized, especially for this size of stock. Um, so the second thing is that I was making all these trend lines. As you can see, I was busy trying to figure out which direction it was going to go. So once it cracked this, I thought, okay, it cracked this channel. It's going to drop back to this VWAP. I'll be able to cover here. As you can see, it held here around 334, jumped up, down. It made a bull flag. So when I added here, my stop loss was going to be at 340, and so I held through this. So we started at around 10:40 a.m. my time to 12:30, almost 2 hours of me just waiting and to see in which direction it was going to go. I guess another confirmation here was that it broke above the bull flag. But the thing is that RSI I was looking at, then I started looking at the 5 minute, and the 5 minute I guess reacts a little better to it. And the 5 minute was kind of holding, and I was waiting for this parabolic dot to drop, to crack through it and then drop down to VWAP. So that was part of the reason I ended up waiting. The other thing is that I had this resistance here from yesterday, so I had that level of protection, and I was expecting that for to hold because it was holding for about 2 hours, and I said it's going to continue holding. And then the buyers are going to give up and just quit, but ended up breaking. The other thing is I ended up sticking to my stop loss here, so I stopped out here, and I took a huge loss because of that. Sized in too much, didn't follow my stop loss. There's a bunch of signals telling me to get out the way, but me being stubborn and hoping that it was going to drop, ended up costing me a lot more. The other thing that I noticed is that I forgot, somebody on Twitter said this, and they said, if you're praying for a stock to go in a certain direction, that you should get out the way. And that's what happened with me. I was praying. I was like, man, come on. I was praying. I was like, come on, drop to VWAP. That should have just been my last resort. If I'm praying, I should just get out the way. I mean, the other way I could have played it is cover here, do the same thing I did with VRX and CLF, and then come and get it up here again. So I ended up taking this big loss. I like to say, your biggest losses come after your hottest streak. And I've been on a hot streak for the past couple of days, but fortunately, I ended up taking this big loss. And standing here is a big lesson learned, and I hope that you guys learn from this too. Because if you're praying, if it's past your stop loss, no matter what the indicators are telling you, just get out the way. Get out the way. Come and get it later. Especially if you're in a non-PDT account or half short trader. So I hope you guys learned from my mistake. It was a costly mistake, my biggest loss to date, and it was very painful. So I think I'll be giving myself a timeout all next week. Probably do some paper trading, or be more disciplined. But yeah, that's what happened with this one, and unfortunately, it's part of trading. So we'll get them next time. Talk to you guys later.